everybody, welcome back to another Out of Ore video. I'm Mr. JP. This is the platinum rip out, I guess would be the best way of putting it. So we're going to be ripping out stonework and platinum from here, and I'm just going to run it in. I'm not going to bother running this through the machine at the moment. I think the machine's going to come in. Excuse me, a bit croaky. I think the machine will come in and start really running. Relatively a $3 a ton value of this material. Okay, that's what paid it's worth about $400. Mixing the tiniest amount of this stuff. It could be $1,000. I think a full truck of coal can come in at $24,000 or so. Really must work on some camera settings on the mouse to make the camera more stable for everybody. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. In fact, anything you want to see, anything you want me to talk about, anything you want to ask about, just put it in the comments. I check it several times a day. You will get a response because as you're learning from my videos, I do suffer a certain amount of verbal diarrhea. And whilst I've got a massive IQ, my head jumps around everywhere. No real focus. A bit like Einstein if he wasn't into physics. Not that I don't, I'm into a bit of physics, I like a bit of that stuff. Nuclear engineering fascinates me. Probably is the way to solve the energy crisis, but not in its current format. The industry needs a little bit of work, in my opinion. But we'll see how that goes, because developing industries, the oil industry was pretty messy compared to how it is now a few, even 30 years ago. So, things develop. I'm hoping for nuclear that the waste disposal methods become a little more responsible, I guess would be the best way of putting it. Because a lot of people don't realise the amount of should we call it soft nuclear waste, so people's clothing, bits of equipment, that kind of thing, and that's the kind of waste that builds up actual nuclear waste from reactors, including, let's include the reactor vessels from all the nuclear submarines that are just sort of parked up in safe storage up in the Kola Peninsula and stuff. Most of the actual stuff from nuclear reactors probably would fit in a hole the size of a football stadium that was, about the same kind of depth, really. We're talking a big American football stadium, not the British one. So that is relatively low waste in a way. It's not that hard to seal that amount of material underground in safe vaults, or store it above ground in safe containment where it can be inspected and looked after, because that's the unfortunate thing. This isn't inactive waste, that's the high grade stuff, and it requires maintenance, would be the best way of putting it, at all times. It needs to be inspected, watched, kept an eye on, guarded, etc, etc. But all the low grade stuff can just go in like landfill and stuff. It's not going to react, it's not going to do anything, and that stuff is a huge amount. For every employee you've got a suit a day. Just from the medical work I did, like every time someone went into the clean room there was a new set of gear, and all of that stuff's sort of recyclable, incineratable, or disposable in those ways, but radioactive stuff isn't. So we'll see where it goes. Fusion may well be the answer rather than fission, or the answer may lie in a completely different direction, like the liquid salt reactors and sodium reaction reactors and thorium reactors that we're seeing. The ideas are being chucked around. the liquid salt reactor using thorium is actually a running idea. The Americans had one running for I think 3 or 5 years as part of an experiment, but they went with known technologies over the new technology because they were thinking about pretty much getting it into submarines and into ships, and so if it wasn't compatible with that idea, the ideas pretty much got shelved. The reason we use the reactor designs we use at the moment is because of the research that was done back then. So it was you pay to do research again on a new system and making it viable for civilian use, or you can use what you're researching anyway for your military gear for civilian use. So that's the way they went. It's logical, but in the end, in the long term, it means that you dead end other research routes and other alternatives. So yeah, it's a complicated subject and generates a lot of complicated emotions. Out of War's a lot simpler. I like mining. It's a much easier place, but I always have. I've played a lot of 7 Days to Die, I'm going to be honest. Like, Out of War's catching up fast on days played to hours played. But it hasn't been out as long, obviously. I think you'd have to call me an experienced 7 Days to Die player, even though I haven't actually really explored that much of the game. But I have killed a lot of zombies, and I've got a lot of hours, and I've done a lot of hot nights, and yeah. It's a lot of fun at times. Yeah, if this game develops a bit, I can see it catching up very quickly. Very quickly. The thing I like about this is other mining games I've played, like Gold Rush, that involve machinery, they're very slow paced, and the maps are very small and limited, which means you get a nice tidy game with very little lag. You should. But in Gold Rush's case, the developers gone more for profit over performance, and so I've ended up with a game that is essentially very dull and hasn't changed much in its time out. So yeah, this is already performing better than Gold Rush in my opinion. It's Gold Rush killer, I've said it before, say it again. Well done, Christian. Someone needed to kill Gold Rush, and I think you've done it. Yeah, the only thing is the gold hunting part of it. We need some specific gold extracting stuff for Playdirt, I think. Always interested in your opinion on what's missing from this game at the moment. Like, as I've already said, the sort of scraper that you see that's like a bucket between 2 sets of wheels. One model I know is a TS24. That was around in the early 90s. 2 massive engines, fuel guzzling monster, with a bucket in the middle that could hold like 24 tons. That's why TS24. Yeah, so they just drove along, scraping up like I think they were taking up an inch of soil each time they drove along. But in the 150 yards they were scraping for, of course, that adds up to quite a few tons. Like they were being pushed out of muddy holes with bulldozers and stuff, and they were fully loaded. Like, quite a lot of fun to watch a bypass being built. As a child, obviously. Very interesting. There's some big cranes in as well. Things you don't get to see in the countryside much. I think I'm going to dump that dumper so I don't spill any of the rich stuff. So yeah, I either as a towable trailer rig on one of the, probably the smallest of those, is the one that I'm making for, take the ripper off, stick the hitch on, allow it to tow like that scraper, that'd be kind of cool. If it could tow a drilling rig as well for exploring, as well as the excavator drill, that'd be awesome. Let me know what you think. The obvious stuff for this game is like the big gear, like bucket wheel excavators, drag lines. I mean, a drag line would be awesome. As I say, let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and you know, any other players out there, feel free to critique my play. Let me know what you think I'm doing wrong, or what you think I'm doing right. You know, let me know what you want to see in videos. a project you want to see built that you don't have time to build, let me know. Currently at loose end, so in the next few days I'm going to be taking on that awful challenge of quitting smoking, so there's going to be a lot more gaming. I may well switch to something a bit more violent like 7 Days to Die, or it sounds a bit weird, but Space Engineers, depending on how you play it, can be a bit violent. Might be able to get some of the mates involved, so you might see more multiplayer interactions. Likewise, if you play these games, do let me know, and we can meet in a server, or we can start a game, you can join me. Your chat will go up on the videos. If you're a fellow YouTuber, feel free to reach out. It's a community thing, and I know that the YouTube community as a whole is made up of a great variety of people. Some of them are utterly bonkers, and are doing crazy things that are actually really bad for the community and irresponsible. There's a guy named Trevor Jacob who faked a plane crash, springs to mind straight away. There are other people who have made beautiful things. A man named Yoke Summer, he's a skydiver and base jumper, and he had a couple of friends, one of which is a man named Ludo Worth, who was responsible for the in-flight photography of their wingsuiting. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He died doing what he loved and went in, which is a shame, because Ludo's photography and the work he was doing, his attitude towards it, at the time I needed that, and it's there for all to see forever. The best example of their work together is a thing called Dreamlines 4. I may feature a link in one of my folders, to be honest, because I think you'll enjoy it. Just look it up. Back to Out of Ore. I mean, processing equipment, some kind of dedicated wash plant for gold. That'd be kind of cool. Some kind of vehicle loading hopper that stores material in a non-physics state, ready for loading into a dumper, would be kind of awesome. So a holding hopper. Kind of like the small hopper design now, but so you can turn it on and off so it doesn't unload. Shouldn't be too hard to build. What else? Bigger dump truck. I want a bigger dump truck. I want a 60. The 40 is nice, but I want to see a 60 or an 80. 80 would be nice, actually. I don't know how that'll be on the particle physics, but the developer does say that he's working on how the dirt works, so if it reduces the amount of graphics processing or memory needed for all of those little balls that are in the dumper, you can have bigger dumpers, basically. So yeah. Thing. Really should variety up my gameplay. I own so many games. I play transport sims. I'm Mr. JP on Steam, by the way. I think all of my gaming is public on there, so you can see what I played. So if you see anything there that you want me to make a video about, let me know. I know I've got City Skylines sat in my inventory that I haven't really played much of yet, with a load of download packs. Space Engineers, if you've got a project for that. If you want to see me start a new game in 7 days, or my current game, which I think is about 150 days in, I'm playing Survival in the Wasteland. So yeah, Horde Nights in the Wasteland, everything in the Wasteland, it gets a bit bonkers at times. Yeah, we're doing alright on these loads. Ooh, that's bad. Bits falling out. Ready for the kick. Oh, no, it's not going to do it. It's going to wait until I'm actually in position to unload. I've taken load lock off, and then that ball will disappear, and the larger little landscape will appear under my back wheel. It's the way of these things, people. You get used to it in the game. I think that's the last bucket load I'm going to get on there. This is rich stuff. I don't want to start spilling everywhere. Yeah, it did eventually turn into a little ball. little lumpy bits. God, I hate them. Really going to have to learn to use the grader properly, I think. Might be the next vid. See how much profit this makes. It should be huge. But it needed to be huge because I want to buy the drill. That's 80 grand, so I want to stay near the 4 million and 20 sort of mark that we were at. We need some profit. The whole point was to see if you could have machines in the game now and not be broke with them turned off, which appears to be. It's all good. Latest update has done the thing. Really looking forward to playing with some explosives in a bit. That'll be interesting. I'm going to sort of get deep enough in the mine I'm in, and then I'm going to blow the walls out and dig into them with the loaders and sort of blow it out. So I don't know if you're familiar with your mining structures, but some of the first mines ever built were known as bell or kettle mines, which they've got a small hole at the top and then they open out as they go inwards. Pretty much the angle of the top of the bell or the arch of the mine is dependent on the material you're in. So if you're in stone you can go big quite early, but if you're in something that collapses easy it stays very narrow. Around here physics are different to real life in the fact that overhangs don't appear to collapse. You can get material that just hangs in midair like in Minecraft. Or even in 7 Days to Die that can occur as well. And that's got good, relatively good collapse physics for a voxel game. I haven't played a lot of voxel games, but I've played enough to know roughly how they work. Played a lot of Minecraft. Being an electronics engineer by training, even though I spent most of my life carpet fitting, it was better money. But yeah, the electronics engineer stuff came in really handy for using redstone in Minecraft. You can build logic gates and computers. With a little bit of basic knowledge of your logic tables, pretty quickly it comes together really well. Automatic doors, airlocks, that kind of thing. Same thing applies to space engineers. You can rig up the sensors and stuff to work together to work in a way that you want. There's a few different things you can do. As I say, if anyone wants to see me doing stuff that pretty much you won't have time to do if you've got a life, let me know. I don't have children, I don't have a girlfriend, so little challenges and personal challenges like that are all I've got. As I say, getting a job's next on the list, kind of challenging. Can't be around chemicals and perfumes and stuff, which makes life kind of annoying. And that includes like the smell of cut vegetables. It's kind of funny watching me start to sneeze and run and get ill because someone sliced open a cucumber and left it on the side. Like, it's pretty innocent stuff that can kill me. If I eat cornflakes, it's lethal. Like anything edible it's called a salicylate intolerance. It's probably a lot more common than understood. The NHS basically don't recognise it, so like, if you're out there and you're suffering from depression, chronic fatigue and IBS, along with a bit of an attitude problem, in that, like, when people ask you to do stuff, your first response is, go fuck yourself. Sorry about the language there, but that's what your head will say. You could be salicylate intolerant. I reckon there's 800,000 to 1.6 million people who are that way in this country, but of that, maybe 600,000 have been diagnosed, and it's normally diagnosed as an allergy to aspirin. But you'll find that if you eat broccoli or spinach or anything that's high in salicylates, like artificial sweeteners are a big one. Like, the sugar tax has made my life hell, like nothing is drinkable anymore. There's no point in going out to eat anything. It's a matter of, for me, going out to like McDonald's and eating junk food. That's the equivalent of going out drinking, because I can say goodbye to my weekend. I'll have a migraine in bed, or, as is currently occurring with me, my mum's done a load of washing, it's wet, and it's all hanging over the banisters, and all the perfume's coming out for cleaning stuff, and we don't use that much, we just use the cleaning bit, don't use conditioners or anything. And just the perfumes from that, I've got a bleeding nose, and I feel like I've been out drinking. pull over. This shuts down my body's ability to, like, it sort of reacts, and my digestion sort of shuts down. I don't get hungry. And even when I do eat, I don't seem to absorb any nutrients. I'm skinny as hell. So yeah, if this is ringing any bells with you, do the experiment. Cut the salicylates out of your life for about 2 or 3 weeks, because that's about how long it took for me. And all of a sudden, your head will go pop and clear, and it's the weirdest thing. For me, personally, I've heard it's different for everyone, but when I came out from salicylate poisoning, because I've been in it for so long, really healthy diet and lifestyle, you know, all the veggies and everything, and of course I was just poisoning myself. All my memories, they happened to me, but it's like emotionally I wasn't there. It's like with someone else's memories. Really strange. But if you think I'm crazy and that I'm like some kind of nutcase, you should hear Bear Grylls on the subject of broccoli. The man knows what he's on about. Like, I had a joke meme. I don't know if it's a genuine comment of his, but it's Bear Grylls' face with the words, first rule of survival, don't be vegan. And he did try vegetarianism and veganism, apparently. And he wasn't well at all. And I know exactly what he means. Like, if I go 3 days without meat, I start to look at the plate after I've eaten with words, where's the rest, you know. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But there is carnivore genetics out there, and I've got them. So he said when Bear Grylls stopped eating broccoli, it was like, yeah, he got his health back, he started putting on weight again. So there may be something in it, people. You know, some people might be designed for vegetables, some people might not be. I personally have a suspicion that women are probably better with vegetables and salicylates than men, because they're designed to have children and support a second load of waste salicylate filtering with their liver and kidneys for the baby, which gives, when they're not pregnant, them an advantage in the fact they can handle more before it starts to hit them. But if you think I'm crazy, look at the vegan agenda and how it's pushed on everybody and how aggressive they are about it. And then look into the fact that Hitler was a vegan. Or a vegetarian at least. He wasn't dedicated, he did eat meat. From what I've read about, this comes from the diaries and memoirs, and I believe he's nutritionist or chef. So he preferred pasta and that kind of thing. Did eat meat occasionally, but most of the time basically a vegetarian. Look at what he came up with for the world. So an interesting one to see how many of the craziest world's dictators were vegetarian. But it does explain a few things. Interesting thing about salicylate intolerance statistics, it's like, I think it's about 1% of the population here, but it's like 5% in Australia. And that's because the first symptom is to not do what you're told. So in an era when they were sending people to the colonies for misbehaviour, and the peasants were all forced to eat a vegetarian diet, so you're on the vegetables, you salicylate intolerant, you get all uppity and they send you to Australia. That's why you end up with more people with salicylate intolerance in Australia now than before. It may also be that, you know, it could be something to do with the genetics, some kind of genetic mix with the populations that Australia's made up from, but yeah, it's interesting how the Australians are sort of the leading advisor in that. Interesting, just interesting stuff. But let me know if you prefer silent or talking videos, by the way. I don't mind either way. So yeah, Platinum, pretty profitable. I had just under 4 million a little bit earlier. I've got an extra third of a million in there, taking the top off of that seam. So you can see how much cash there is. That's a lithium seam there that I've got to chop the top off of now, so there'll be more and more cash being made. Let's chop a bit of that out now, so see the kind of profit margin involved on that. Yeah, so I've got the chain tyres on this beast. I think I'm going to modify my dump truck a bit as well, see how that goes. There's some GPS markers. I thought they were probably just decorative because they stick out the cab and stuff, but they might actually do something. So I'm going to look into that as well, because I've seen people talking about them online. There's still stuff to explore in what is a very simple game here. You know, it's quite well finished. It's better than other development games I've played for its UIs. People moan about the controls, but I'm going to be honest, as you can see from what I'm playing, I'm only on a keyboard and mouse, people. I've got no steering wheel, got no pedals, nothing posh. We're not on a VR headset or using touchscreen craziness or wave your hands in the air craziness is going on now, like in some kind of Mission Impossible hecticity. Mission? Oh no! It wasn't Mission Impossible where he's doing the wavy handy thing. That was Minority Report. God, I could do with one of those. Mind you, second liberation. Good. Kind of nerve-wracking name as well. Dig some more holes. Put some more holes. Looks like all stone. To be fair, the stone isn't actually worth. It compared to the price of paper, the stone's actually worth a reasonable amount. White stuff is what we're after, but after the white. Let's get a dump truck of white. See how much that is. I do love the lack of lag with the load lock, and it does save a lot of smoothing up in the digging areas, especially if you sort of sit where you're digging and empty any loose bits off. Something I really should do more. Because I end up with little lumps and bumps everywhere, and then you have to be smooth, and that's the cycling pain. Hate grind. As you can see there, we're starting to get into like a more rocky face on the cliff, and going to work out how to remove some overburden. I've heard explosives can just blow it away and it disappears without dropping any rocks, so we'll see how that goes at some point. Also blow explosives one by one and see if it makes a difference, and make sure I haven't got any loaded dumper trucks or anything when I do it. So yeah, got that nicely loaded up now. Over here somewhere. Away. Going to bring the dozer in and level this place up as well, because it's a bit of a mess. Do a video on how to level. It's a skill. It's quite an advanced skill as well. It takes a little bit of effort, but by putting a bit of flooring in to start from to give yourself like a level surface to set the dozer up on each time, you can actually bulldoze level areas out quite easily. So I'll be demonstrating how to do that in a future video. Be grading this road out. I want this road to be get this a bit more level so you don't get like weird kicks like that when you climb it. Just makes the whole thing look a bit more natural. I think that's the thing with this game, is making it look a bit more real. Like all this concrete paving around here is not really that real. At the same time, mines do have large hard standings for parking vehicles and stuff, and that's what this is about. Even though if you park a dozer, you might want to leave it with the blade hanging off your flooring, because otherwise it as I think I've mentioned it before, but when you reload the game they sort of start ripping holes. Likewise buckets for diggers, the ripper, don't leave them anywhere you care about, because when you reattach them they can sort of reattach and be in the floor, and they just immediately dig a massive hole. So or destroy your tiles is the other option. So yeah, leaving them on the helipad is a good idea, but they will block a recovery, so you might want to be careful about how you do that. probably going to end up with multiple tools for excavators scattered all over the place. I know that I do. But, we're playing with excavators a bit later on. So that's all the digging out of the rids I've done. Made quite a bit of cash through that. So I'll wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.